welcome or welcome back to Rise and Align, where we talk about all things high vibrational. We are your hosts. My name is Demi.
And I am Halie. Today we are getting a little witchy. We are talking about how to bring the magic into your everyday life. We have gone through a lot of these concepts already, but we have never talked about them all in one place together. So this will be a great resource for you if you want to bring more magic into the mundane, or just bringing more magic into your everyday life. We are witches, and we love to do little things each day to welcome some of that magic in and connect back to the earth and the cosmic energies. So we'll go through that today with you, some of our favorite things, and kind of go through what it's like being a witch on the day-to-day.
Absolutely. So I was thinking about this prior to the episode, and I was like, there are literally like thousands of things that I could say, but I do so many things during my day that I thought I might just talk about like my daily life. Like she said, we have talked about this in other episodes. The first thing I wanted to mention was, having a practice in the morning. A lot of times when I'm either like doing yoga or drinking coffee, I'm thinking about like what my intention is going to be for the day, like setting intentions. I also like talking like affirmations in the morning, either looking in the mirror or into whatever I'm drinking. But having a spiritual practice in the morning in general, especially yoga, as we've talked about, that makes all the difference for me. Like starting my day on that good feeling note. If I don't do that, my whole day is like wrong. It's always different.
Yeah. And we do have an amazing episode about how to set a morning routine. But if we're thinking of it in terms of magic, it is thinking about doing things from or connecting to your intuition, or doing things from more of an intuitive way, or inviting in ways to call in magic. So in that episode, we definitely are a little bit more
like logic, more routine. Yeah.
But I guess thinking of it from more of a magical perspective, one of the first things I do is, I do drink coffee in the morning oftentimes, and I do stir in intentions into my coffee. And I think that's a great way to invite just a little touch of magic into your day, is stirring an intention into your coffee. They do recommend doing it clockwise, but, just do what feels good to you. But it can be an intention that you want to set for the day, or a goal that you want to accomplish, repeating to yourself a specific affirmation that really resonates with you, or energy that you want to call in. But you can also do it with your food. So whether it is, breakfast, lunch, or dinner, you can bless your food, or you can speak intentions, or even gratitude over whatever it is that you're consuming, and really blessing it with high vibrations. And, I think that is a really easy practice that everyone can do. We all eat, we all drink. Even if you're drinking water, you can speak intentions into your water, or, you can drink moon water. Things like that, I think, are just a great way to start. And then, of course, yoga, we talk about that in every episode, but from a more magical perspective, I think yoga can help you connect to your intuition, which I think is a really important way to tap into your inner magic and connect to the divine. So having a movement practice that works for you, and for both of us, it's different every single day. Sometimes it's very simple, light stretching, and then other times it is a little more intense. But I think listening to how your body feels and what you're desiring that day in your body is a part of inviting magic into your daily life, because you're listening to yourself and what you need.
And as we've talked about in a few different episodes, like women's cycle is 28 days, and our energy as well as our hormones fluctuate during that time. So I do try to intentionally do movement that aligns with that. So right now I'm in my luteal phase. I'm more tired, and I've been doing yoga that incorporates more like yin relaxing poses. And also they say that your intuition is much stronger right before and during your menstrual phase. So it's a great time. I mean, really, meditation is amazing every single day, but it is a great time to do meditations specifically to tap into your intuition. I love incorporating that. And then as far as like speaking words into your food and water or whatever you're drinking, it literally puts that vibration into whatever you are consuming, which I think is great. I've also heard different places that you can write words of like gratitude, or like you can just write like love, gratitude, whatever on your glass, and then like drink that, and as you drink it, like you set that intention and you feel that you're consuming that energy. That's definitely a great way to bring magic into your in your morning and to your everyday.
Yeah, I feel like I do that with moon water too. If you are charging moon water or putting water under the full moon sometimes, or the new moon, I guess, but writing specific intentions as far as like if it's a new moon, what you want to call in, or a full moon, what you want to release, and then getting it charged with that energy, and then you can drink it, which I think is along the same lines, but even adds like an additional element of magic, which is aligning with the cycles of the moon and with your own body. And we also have an amazing episode on that as well, if you really want to dive into more of the specifics and how to incorporate living with the lunar cycle. But that's something that we both practice so much and live by, and I kind of like to think of the moon as my calendar.
Yeah, me too, absolutely. I was going to mention that in this episode too, that like I'm always doing different things based on where the moon is right now and when the full moon is, and I do feel like my energy is different, when the moon is full versus when it's not. So I do pay a lot of attention to the moon cycles, and I do different rituals based on where the moon is, and we've talked about in different episodes too, aligning with earth, water, fire, and air. Say the moon is in a water sign, I'll like take a bath or, do something incorporating that element. Same with like if it's in a fire sign, I might like write intentions, or maybe write what I want to let go of and burn that.
Or dance, like really embody that intensity and type energy.
Yeah, absolutely. Same with air and earth. I'll try to incorporate those into whatever ritual I'm doing, if that's where the moon is right now. And I think that's a really wonderful way to bring magic into your life, to just align yourself with the natural phases of the universe.
In addition to that, which we also go in depth in multiple episodes about this, but considering what astrological sign we're in, and if you're aligning with it, you can do rituals that embody that energy. But if you're feeling like you need balance and that energy is kind of overwhelming or intense, you can do kind of opposing practices to find balance. So if it is a full moon in an air sign and you're feeling a little bit too up in the air, finding a grounding practice during that time might be helpful too. So I like to play around with the energies, and again, that goes back to listening how you feel and noticing how you feel during these specific periods of time.
Absolutely.
Along with that, we talk about this as well. We have 3 of the 4 seasons done now, I believe, but we like to embody the elements of different seasons as well. So we're aligning with the lunar cycle, we're aligning with what Mother Earth is doing, and then, cosmic energies. And that can be kind of overwhelming, but you can kind of think about, what aligns with you most, or what feels easiest to kind of start with, or what's calling to you as far as like where you'd want to start with that.
I think so much of bringing magic into your life is really getting in tune with your intuition and like what you're feeling, and keeping the practices that are going to help you feel better. So like, when you notice that maybe you're not feeling grounded, to go outside and ground, and like for me, if I'm feeling like I need advice or something, like I'll pull tarot cards. If I'm feeling like somehow off, I might journal so that I could recognize like what's causing these emotions and like how can I flip that. And I like use the tools, like my little toolbox of like, okay, what can I do to make this feel better? What can I do to make myself like tap back in? Because when you're aligned with your intuition and yourself, you feel strong, you feel powerful, you feel magical. Like alignment is the best feeling, so when you feel out of alignment, it's so important to have that little toolbox to get yourself back in alignment. But also not to force it, like to allow, okay, like I'm feeling this way, that's fine, I'm gonna let it flow, and then I'm not gonna get stuck there. Like, so now what am I gonna do to move through this?
Right.
And also I think like it gives you so much more control to have those little tools, and part of magic is that powerful feeling, but it's not a forceful, it's an empowerment, and that's why magic feels so good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, can live in alignment, or, you know, in terms of being a witch, it's kind of like connecting to your inner magic, or connecting to your power, like however you want to look at it. In terms of intuition, you know, those are really great tools, I feel like, to connect back to your intuition. And I feel like if you want to connect more with your intuition, you need to be more introspective and do things that allow you to quiet down and go within, or to tap back into more of that source like energy, that divine energy. So, you know, journaling is a really great practice to kind of get your thoughts out and look at it from a different perspective. But you can also do like channel journaling prompts. You can call in spirit guides or angels or just the divine. You can call them in and say, like, I would love to hear your perspective on this or guidance on this. And you can channel their writing through you. So you'll just start writing something down, and it's going to be kind of the message that they are giving to you. That can be the same with tarot. You can ask the divine a question, and I feel like tarot cards can help guide you. But in a sense, your own intuition, your own inner guidance is kind of the same thing as source. So it's just like however you want to think about it, if you're connecting to yourself or to source.
I totally agree. Yeah. Inner being, source, the same thing to me too. It's funny because I was thinking, so we were talking about how we do different yoga all the time. When I first started doing yoga, whatever would pop up on my YouTube is the yoga that I would do every day. And I would just trust that. And I feel like there is a lot of empowerment in just trusting source, just trusting the universe, trusting where the day is going to lead you. Like there have been days where, especially like in the wintertime when it's like kind of depressing weather out, you know, I'll wake up and I'll be like, I'm not feeling best today, but like I'll do my little things to make me feel better. And then like maybe I don't have anything to do that day. I'll just say, okay, show me the way, you know? And if I feel like, okay, maybe I need to get myself outside, you know, and just get into nature and feel a little better, getting some fresh air, I will get in my car and I go to the main street and I say, okay, which way feels better to turn? Show me the way. And I'll do that. And I'll just be like, where do I feel like driving? And I'll allow source to guide me. And I have found so many trails by doing that. Like just show me the way, which way feels the way. Just allowing, and that has brought so much magic into my life. It has brought me to the coolest places, and I've had the happiest experiences just allowing the universe to guide me there.
And I think that is just another way of connecting with your intuition too,
absolutely,
you know, and trusting that you are always where you're meant to be, and you're always going to be guided and on the right path. And something that I would love to add on to that is synchronicities are a great way to get signs from the universe and to connect with the universe, and just to have like that little reminder that, you know, you are on the right path, or you are this or that. And whatever your opinion is on synchronicities, regardless, it can always just be a reminder to like change your perspective, or to remind yourself that, you know, things are always working out, or abundance is on its way to you, or you're unconditionally loved. Like you can always choose what you want your symbols to be. It doesn't have to be the same thing that everyone follows. Angel numbers can mean different things to you than other people. You might even, you know, use animals as symbols. There's so many different ways that you can use synchronicities, but you know when you know, like you just have to slow down and kind of pay attention to what's going on around you and what you're seeing. But I just think it's a great way to connect with your inner being and source, and just a great reminder.
On that note, I feel like a lot of people will be like, well, I don't really believe in angel numbers, or I don't believe in angels, or what have you. And that's okay. Like you don't have to believe anything, but I think that they can be used as an intentional tool, that when I see these numbers, I'm going to believe that I'm on the right path. When I see this thing, I'm going to choose to believe that I'm on the right path. And in doing that, one, I genuinely believe that we create our own reality. I don't think anything is by coincidence at all. I think that there is only one point of consciousness, and that every single detail of your external reality is purposeful. It's intentional. It wasn't by accident. And so even something as small as seeing an angel number or seeing a butterfly or something can have meaning if you give it that. And it's not a bad thing to do that. It's a bad thing if you obsess over it in an unhealthy way if you rely on it to make all your decisions for you. But if you just use it as a way to say, you know what, I'm on the path
Another
and I
tool
trust
in your
that,
toolbox.
another tool, it does not hurt. And when you take on that belief that I am on the right path, I am doing the right thing, this feels good to me, it's a happy, joyous sign, you're going to continue to act out of those feelings, and it will create that reality for you. So it can make them real if you want to give them meaning, you know?
Yeah. Just as a side note, that can be the same for tarot too. You know, we have a whole episode about this, but you know, there can be negative connotations with tarot, but it is a tool in your toolbox that can be used to guide you or to connect with your intuition. I think that misusing it would be getting a card and having that be a law, like that is happening to you, and letting that dictate your reality if it's something you have a negative reaction to. You know, that's not what these tools are designed for. If you're truly wanting to invite the magic in and connect with source, you use these tools for guidance, not for, you know, a more shadow aspect.
Yes. I think the reason that a lot of people have such an issue with tarot is because they believe that you're worshiping it as you worship God, and then they see it as satanic or coming from a source outside of source, which I don't believe that can be a thing, but okay. But it's interesting because tarot is genuinely based on your perspective. Like, you can read a card in 10 different ways and it'd be the same card. And you can, you know, you can perceive it in a different way based on how you're feeling mentally and emotionally, or what you're going through. And I think the only issue in that is like obsessing over it. There are rules to tarot, and I think a lot of people don't know that. You're not meant to ask like yes or no questions. You're meant to ask about the future or about someone else's life or anything like that. There are rules to it. And so when you're getting advice, it is genuinely just that. And you're meant to interpret it based on your own, like how you're feeling. And you're meant to ask those questions introspectively rather than being like, this is some external thing that's going to have power over my life or that's going to determine my future or anything. It's not meant to be that way. It's not meant to be used that way.
And kind of going off of what you had said about people viewing tarot as maybe satanic or demonic, but you'll find that a lot of witchy practices or rituals are misconstrued because they do connect you to your power. They do empower you, and they do make you feel magical and connect back to yourself, your own power. And if that is the case, other people outside of you cannot control you. And I just think that there are certain systems that have been put in place to misconstrue these practices so that you don't connect to your inner power, and then you are more easily controlled. So I think, you know, if you have a negative opinion on some of these practices, to maybe think about why you feel that way, and if it's truly coming from within, it's truly coming from you and not opinions that may have been carried down to you or given to you by someone else who may or may not be trying to take away your power.
And on that note, like, I have two things to say. One is that if you are coming from like Catholic or Christian or Lutheran, God is within all of us. Like, we all believe that. And I think that this is the same concept, that you can tap into your inner being, that you can tap into source, that you can listen to God. That is all the same. It's all the same. There's only one God, and we just call it different things and have wars over it. But also, I feel like it's the same kind of thing that happens with like holistic healing and, you know, making tinctures and things like that. A lot of people will be like, that is witchcraft and it's bad and whatever. I see that as another way to bring magic into your life. You know, you can use it to stay healthy, to heal, to guard your immune system, to bring all kinds of good into your life.
And to connect with Earth too.
It also takes the power away from anything outside of you. Like, you don't need to rely on pharmaceuticals or doctors to heal you. You can do it with the earth, and you can do it for yourself and by yourself, and, you know, with those intentions. So it does empower you. It does.
Yeah. I think another way I like to incorporate magic in my everyday life is when I get dressed in the morning. And, you know, this is another thing that we've talked about, but maybe using color magic while you're getting ready to call in certain intentions in your life. Colors do have a specific frequency that correlate with specific meanings. And maybe if you're wanting some grounding or prosperity, you wear green. And you can even think about it in terms of the style that you're going to wear. I had said prior to starting this, I felt kind of whimsical, or I wanted to call in some of that like whimsy. So I dressed accordingly. You can use your clothing as a tool to manifest and to call in specific intentions, which is a form of magic, and just to kind of reinforce what energy you want to embody. So I think that color magic is really amazing. And you can even think about, what color eyeshadow you want to wear to reinforce that as well.
I was going to bring that up too. For me, getting dressed is a whole ritual. Like, I absolutely love doing it. I'm always listening to like either some type of like spirituality talk on YouTube, or maybe some advice that I feel like I need or that I want to learn more about, or I'll listen to like my favorite music. It just depends on how I'm feeling that day. But I feel like that entire ritual, like getting ready, whether it's just doing skincare or picking out an outfit or doing my whole makeup and hair and everything, is so mandatory for me to feel like myself, to put that energy into me, and to like, if my outfit doesn't feel right, I'm like, no, I can't leave. Like, I need to figure out what feels right today. And when I do that, that makes me feel so like empowered and so good and so aligned with myself. And like, I can be having the worst day emotionally, and then like once I go through that whole process of like relaxing and figuring out how to make myself feel the best that day, that everything's changed. It's like completely flips the energy for me. And that also reminds me, there was a time where I would be really triggered by, I guess I would say it's basically fear of abandonment. Like, say that I was triggered because I like really liked somebody, and then like they wouldn't text me back or something. Like, I would be really upset. And so I was talking to a life coach at the time, and she said, when you feel that way, when you feel that trigger, go do something for yourself. Like, go do something that's good for you. Go show yourself self-love. Go take a hot bath. Go for a walk. Do one of those things in your toolbox every time that you get triggered. Eventually, it will get rid of the trigger, because you start to put all of your focus back on yourself and all of that energy back into yourself. And you realize that like you're your point of attraction in life. Like, you're the most important person in your life, and you can't lose you. So there is no, you don't have to fear that abandonment. You're always attracting everything. So as long as you stay in the fear, then you're attracting that, what you're fearing, right? But as long as you stay in the love and the focusing on yourself and doing things to make yourself feel better, then you no longer fear. And so it'll actually break that trigger for you. And that has been one of the most magical things I've ever learned.
And it naturally brings you back into alignment, connects you back with you, what feels good to you. And it will then spiral into so many other amazing like opportunities and things, and you'll meet different people that align with this more higher vibrational you, and it'll just become a whole snowball.
I think so. In those moments of negative emotion, whatever you're feeling or whatever is going on in your life, you might have different triggers than me, obviously, but when you feel those things, when you choose to do those things in your toolbox to make yourself feel better, that choice is what makes all the difference. Like, that's what creates the magic. That's what brings you back to yourself. It's so important. I think, with depression, it can be easy to stay on the couch in your pajamas and eat junk food. But when you get up and you take care of yourself and you get out of the house, you get some fresh air, it flips everything. And then you start attracting everything you do want into your life.
And then you truly start to see the magic in all the little things. Once you start, maybe it's going for a walk every day, or, having this night routine, whatever. You start to see, oh my gosh, the sky is so beautiful. Look at the little frog on the ground in front of me. Oh my gosh, look at that flower. And then it's like, wow, I feel so good today. Like, you start to notice these things, and you see the magic that's right in front of you, all around you. And it is everywhere. And the more awareness and practice that you put into your little rituals each day, and that you put into you, It's a reflection of your inner world. So if you start feeling better on the inside, the more goodness that you're going to start noticing on the outside.
Yeah, your entire life will become magical if you're willing to recognize the magic that's all around you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, like, when you were explaining that, I thought of a specific day where I don't remember what was going on, but I was like not feeling very happy this day. But I did that thing where I got in the car and I was like, okay, where are we going? Mm-hmm. And I found this place called Moose Mountain. And at the time, Moose Mountain had all of these wildflowers and berries, and the sun was shining and there were butterflies everywhere and bees. I was able to choose, okay, I'm going to get up, get ready, get out of the house. I don't feel that great, but like, okay, even getting in the car and playing music, I'm like, I'm starting to feel better, right? Mm-hmm. So I get to this place and I'm already feeling quite a bit better. And then I start noticing, and it starts with like a flower, and then this happens. And the more that you appreciate and like recognize these little things, but they're actually big magic mm-hmm. all around you, the more that you're attracting that. And so the whole day just became better and better and better. It snowballs. And I literally was like, I feel like I'm in heaven. Mm-hmm. Like, this is heaven on earth. And all it took was like that one decision to go downstream. Mm-hmm. that led me to heaven.
And that, my friends, is alchemy.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, that's the law of attraction, mm-hmm. you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I think alchemization is such a major part of connecting or being a witch, is transmuting the darkness into light, or not being afraid to explore the shadows and then bring them to the light, you know, and exploring your depths and not being afraid of them, but also empowering yourself to not dwell there and instead expand and allow yourself to create something new from that, which I think is also magical.
Yeah, it is, absolutely. I think a lot of people who feel that they are a witch also identify as being empathic. And so it's easy to take on the energy of others. And it's also easy to give away your own energy and like wanting to help others. And I, in the past, caught myself like not having strong boundaries and doing that a lot. And then I learned something one day, and it's kind of two things in one. I was told to literally sit there and say, I call back my energy, mm-hmm. and feel like that is coming back to you. Like, instead of like giving all of this effort and energy to try to make other people happy or make them feel better or, you know, help them, whatever, bring that energy back to you. And part of doing that is what I was just saying, focusing on yourself and doing those things that are going to make you feel better. And something that I've learned, you know, through being a witch and through being spiritual and through being a life coach, is that in doing things that make yourself feel better, you then spread that high vibration to others. So I think a lot of us think that we must give something away in order to help others, but it's just the opposite, actually. In being selfish about your vibration, you are actually uplifting those around you as well.
Absolutely. Along with that, I had a hard time taking other people's energies, and I consider myself an empath. Something that I found protective from taking in these energies is to surround myself in a white light, or you kind of imagine a white bubble around yourself of this golden, pure, loving light energy. And you can do that in a meditation. You know, you can start your day off in that space. But if you are somewhere where you're just like overwhelmed, or there's someone that's like really negative, or it's just a really bad situation, you can imagine this protective light around you. And honestly, that has helped me so much. I think that was like one of the very first things that I started doing when I started to explore my spiritual journey, and has honestly helped me so immensely and now I do it without realizing it, but mm-hmm. It's definitely another tool that you can add, because it's almost like these people's energy will like bounce off of this bubble that you're creating around yourself, and you know, you won't absorb it, because I was absorbing really bad energies, you know, and I worked in a hospital and a nursing home, and even people who aren't necessarily like bad people or really negative people, even being around sick people a lot, you know, you're taking on a really really heavy emotions, really, intense, sad emotions or whatever. So just being able to protect yourself from those energies can be really, really important. But you had also said, you can influence people's energies around you you can be so strongly in this positive space. When you're in tune with yourself and aligned with yourself, you emit such a strong, powerful energy. You are empowered. You're connected to your magic. So you're really emitting a powerful, strong vibration. And there are tools that do that as well. And one of them being crystals, which obviously is one of my favorite things. I sell crystals because I love them so much and I want to share that magic with people. But there are crystals that are so, their structure is perfect. Like the crystalline structures are perfect and made up of sacred geometric shapes. I get so excited that I can't even. But crystals embody certain energies and they can act as energy fields around you. And it kind of acts in the same way. If you have a crystal around you and that energy is so pure and so strong that it's going to influence your energetic field and kind of start bringing you into that energy. So to not get too in depth with it, we will have a crystal episode someday. You can have crystals around you that embody a specific energy or intention. You can pick out your crystal by color based off of, the intention that you want to call in. If you're working with a specific chakra, you can get crystals that align with that specific energy. But even just thinking of it in simple terms, you want to have more protection. You can get crystals that offer that like protection of your energetic field and repels the negativity. You can get crystals that amplify your intentions. So if you feel like you're in this really good place and you want to amplify, some of this energy that you're calling in, you can get crystals that connect you to love, self-love, love from others. You can get crystals that help with communication. You can get crystals that, just help spark joy, crystals that call in courage. There's crystals that embody these frequencies, and I wouldn't underestimate them. It can't hurt you to have them around. But also, as we talked about earlier with like synchronicities and stuff, even just having them there as physical reminders of intentions that you want to set. If you have said crystal around, even when you see it, it reminds you of that intention and you will bring more focus to that.
Yes, 100% yes. There were a couple things that I wanted to say off that too as well. When you were talking about like envisioning the light around you, I've used that a lot too. And it also reminded me that like with color magic, they say that when you're wearing white, you're reflecting, whereas when you're wearing black, you're absorbing the energy around you. So you can be intentional about wearing those colors when you're going somewhere. Like if you're going in a big crowd of people and you don't want to absorb all that, you might not want to wear black. For me, I feel really empowered in black, and I feel like I am able to alchemize the energy of others, so it doesn't bother me so much, but I need to be conscious of that. Mm-hmm. And I think that envisioning that light around you gives you that conscious awareness, because most of us are not conscious of the energy that we're taking in. So people love to complain. Like it is so habitual for so many people to complain, and you might be in a room of coworkers and they might be complaining, and then the thing that humans are really funny, because somebody will say, well, this happened to me today and it was so bad. And the next person will say, well, this happened to me and it was even worse. And they'll like have this complaining competition. But when you become aware that like that's not something you actually want to intake or affirm or join in on, then it can help protect your energy from allowing yourself to align with that, because you don't want to get on their vibration. Mm-hmm. So something you can do instead of joining the crowd and being like, well, my problems are worse, you can change the subject. And I was writing about this the other day, coincidentally, had nothing to do with this episode. I wrote, the art of distraction. It's the key to parenting and also to energy manipulation. You can distract your own mind in order to align, because a lot of us, like when we get stuck in those negative emotions, it's habitual to sit there and think about it and overthink about it. But you can distract your own mind by going to do one of those things in your toolbox and, switching the subject so you're not sitting there repeating those problems. And you can also distract others from their negativity. So if somebody is complaining or they're just telling you like some awful story, like so many people do that, you can be like, you know what? You're doing really good at work lately. You know what? I really like your necklace. Your outfit is so cute. And if you just like give them a compliment or talk about something that they're good at and just change the subject, you can also change their energy that quickly. Just that one shift. And if it doesn't work the first time, do it again. You know what? The sky is so beautiful, right? I do that all the time. People are telling me like the worst story of their lives, and I'll be like, it is such a beautiful day. Like, I'm listening, but I just don't want to align with that vibration, and I don't want them to stay in it either. So I'll just harmlessly say, you know what? Look at the clouds. They are beautiful, aren't they? There's infinite abundance here for us. Like, everything is okay. I understand that hurt you, but look how many plants are growing out there.
What's funny is when you start changing your mindset, that's like naturally what you want to talk about.
Yes.
I feel like we're so funny when we go places together or like go out in nature, because we're like, look at this guy. Look at that mushroom. Look
Literally.
at that mushroom.
It's always the mushrooms.
Oh
Look at the
my
mushroom.
God. Like, we're out. Like, we just, it's kind of hilarious.
Us
like
at the beach. All of my friends are this way. We're at the beach. Hey, look at this rock. Look at that rock. We're all bringing home rocks. Like, I don't know. It just brings us joy, and it doesn't hurt to be that way, to allow yourself to focus on the little things, the magic in the little things.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Absolutely.
where the magic is, all around you, if you're willing to recognize it.
I think, one more thing that I want to add, witches, they're associated with altars, right? And again, that altars can be misconstrued. A lot of times people are like, oh, voodoo, or,
Worshipping the devil.
like whatever, But it is, if you have a little space in your house where you want to create an altar. And to me, what that means is a space where you can use some of your tools to amplify your intentions for something. So if you are doing a full moon practice, you can set up your altar to help with your intention of releasing whatever you want to release. You can also do altars that align with the seasons, to call in the energies of the season to make the most of the season. So I love to use crystals in my altar. I love to use things outside, flowers, pine cones, acorns, seashells, rocks that you find on the beach, on your altar to, one, maybe honor that season or have it represent something. Feathers. I think plants are a great thing to, one, have in your home, but two, that can represent the earth element on your altar. You can play around with finding balance amongst all the different elements. It's just a way for me to amplify my intentions. You can use candles to represent fire, and I just think there's so many ways that you can play with it, and it's so customizable because you can build whatever you want on your altar to call in a specific intention. If you're wanting to call in love, you can have rose quartz and cute little pink things that you find at the store. It could be even just regular decor, beautiful pink flowers and some pink candles and whatever, just to put that intention there. And then usually I will have a candle on my altar, and if I'm journaling or practicing tarot, I will light the candle, because to me that reminds me of that intention that I'm setting, and it amplifies the energy of my altar, and I will have that energy while I'm doing my rituals. And you can even have that candle going while you are doing your nighttime routine or your morning routine. I just think it's another embodiment of intentions that you're wanting to set or, call in. So that has also been another way that I like to connect to my magic. And I think something that maybe I can change your perspective on in terms of what it is or what it really means.
I completely agree with the use of it as well. I think that it is a sacred space, but it's also worth understanding that an altar is a place where people pray. And there are altars in churches, and I know Indian cultures have altars within their homes where they go to pray as well. And I think that it's a very similar concept, if not the same thing. You're just, in terms of being a witch, you're making it your own. You're putting whatever intention that you're focused on right now. That's how you're decorating your altar. So for us, I know like it's changing all the time. I don't like, it's not the same for like years straight or anything. I'm always like changing what I put and where I put, and damn near every surface in my house has stuff like that, kind of intentionally. But you know, it's just fun to make it your own, listen to your intuition, align with you.
And a good space to do your spell jars if that's something that you do or are interested in. We do have an episode where we kind of show you how we create spell jars. I also have been getting into creating crystal grids, and that is the space where I would create a crystal grid. And again, you can utilize crystals to amplify certain intentions, and I was able to manifest a really amazing job with the use of a crystal grid as a part of my toolbox. So not just utilizing that, but I think crystals are just something that is overlooked that is worth exploring if you are, you know, wanting to invite more magic in. But that to say, I just love having a sacred space where I can do my rituals and my practices, and, you know, where I can open my toolbox per se, like where I can journal and where I can do tarot and where I can feel safe, where I can connect within, where I can meditate, shut out the world, you know, whatever it is that you're doing in your practice. Like, to me, it is creating that sacred space.
I think with crystals too, like, if you are closed off to the idea, well, try it. Just try it out. You know, it cannot hurt. If anything, it will remind you of the intention, as you mentioned. I think what you believe becomes, no matter what that is. So it's worth trying some of these things just to see what happens.
Absolutely. I feel like we have so many other ways that you can connect to your inner magic that we discuss on every single episode. We always are offering, I feel like, new ways to explore inwards and to become a higher version of you and to become in alignment and to raise the vibration. And again, that's what we're here to do. We're here to raise our own vibration and help you raise your vibration. And then again, we become like crystals and we emit that frequency to those around us. So I think that's so powerful to explore your inner magic and become empowered so that you can empower others.
Absolutely. I would like to say one last thing too, is that I think a lot about those who I love when I'm practicing magic, and, you know, I pray for them, but I also speak those affirmations into the food that I'm cooking, and I intentionally buy like organic ingredients, and I think about them as I'm making the food. Like, I never cook when I'm mad. I cook when I'm like in the mood to do it and I love it, and I'm putting that loving intentional energy into it. And I'm doing the same thing. Like, if you have kids, you can put crystals in their room. Like, you can teach them about having those intentions. You can teach them about journaling, or even like coloring pictures. Like, we love to color pictures of what we want to manifest. We love doing it. Anything like that, like, you can teach those around you magic, and you can uplift them without them even knowing.
Absolutely. Even when you're meditating, you know, you're getting into this high vibrational state, you can imagine yourself sending energy to other people. You know, if you have someone that you know is mentally or physically ill, you can send them that energy. If you have someone that you know is going through a really hard time, you can send them feeling of like unconditional love, of support. You are powerful, and we're in an energetic based universe. You can do so much by focusing your energy. And you can create your reality with that. And
I'd like to say, if you're interested in more, read the Silva Mind Control Method. Also, the CIA has done studies on topics such as astral projection and healing others with your mind, and proven that those things are a reality. If you don't believe it, it won't become. If you believe it, it is. So it's it's a whole other rabbit hole that we maybe could go down another day. But if you're interested, yeah, I would read the Silva Mind Control Method, look into it. There are so many different ways to learn magic, and You are more powerful than you probably realize. And like Abraham Hicks says, one person in alignment is more powerful than millions who are not.
That's one of my favorite like quotes ever from her. Like, it's so true.
It is so true. You believe in yourself, it'll become. On that note,
we're going to grab a magical tool from our toolbox and see what Source has to say within our conversation.
Oh, the lovers. There's an angel above them.
I don't think I've gotten this card in a really long time. But according to the Moon Witch Tarot deck, the Lovers card represents love, union, partnership, choices, harmony, duality, staying true to yourself. As the name implies, the lover is about love and deep, meaningful connections. Their union is protected and blessed by an angel. The volcanic mountain in the background represents the eruption of passion that happens when two soulmates finally meet. The relationships this card signifies are not limited to the romantic kind. The lovers can symbolize a union of any two forces to accomplish a joint purpose: friends, business partners, family members, etc. The lovers also represents a need to make a decision, to make a choice, and to commit to one idea, one partner, or one direction. Look at the hands of the lovers. They are reaching for each other, barely touching. You can almost feel the tension because the decision has not been made yet. In the journey of the Fool, the lesson of the Lover card is learning to decide what you stand for, what is important to you, and what your views and philosophies are. The Lover's card serves as a reminder to stay true to who you are. The reversed meaning of this card suggests that the lovers symbolize a conflict or a disconnect, either external or internal. It can also mean you have been avoiding responsibility for your actions. Perhaps you made an impulsive decision, and now the consequences are catching up to you. If that is the case, the Lovers reversed is your sign to make a responsible choice. Push through or change course. Remember, the absence of a decision is also a decision on your part. I was like getting goosebumps and like, and I like couldn't even stay like.
The energy is weird today, mate. I've been feeling it. Oh, strong.
I feel like, again, that sums up the episode fairly well. It does talk about staying true to you and knowing what you stand for, knowing what philosophies work for you. And I think that's important. An important part of inviting the magic in and being a witch is being in tune with that part of you.
When I'm in the reverse meaning, my physical body will let me know. Like, I will become ill and exhausted, and like everything in my life starts to go wrong when I deny my intuition. Deep down, you know what's the path. You can feel what's right for you. And I think that the most important thing to do before making a decision is to get in alignment with yourself. Find yourself, align with your inner magic before you make those important decisions, or any decision. What feels best for you?
Absolutely. So I think this is a great opportunity for you to take a pause, take a moment to reflect, to think about what this episode means to you, what that card means to you. Maybe take out your journal. Maybe set up a sacred space for you to connect with yourself and to go inwards. Maybe you want to meditate on this episode. Whatever it is, I really recommend that you take the time to connect to yourself and decide how you feel, what's important to you, and get yourself into alignment.
One thing too, I was told one day, write down 30 things, 30 that make you happy, that make you feel aligned, that you love. And when you feel those moments of insecurity or unsureness, get out that list and choose something. It makes a huge difference. As always, we love you so much. We couldn't do it without you. Thank you for being here. Please like, share, comment to let us know how you liked this episode and what you'd like us to talk about next time.
We'll see you next week.
Thanks for helping us raise the frequency.
Bye.